Hi friends, we're back here in the Discovery Center and we're gonna make a Tuscan pulled chicken. Let's get going. Got a nice hot saute pan. I'm gonna put down a little bit of soybean oil. Just get that moving around. You can see it's nice and hot. Put in our red onion, a little bit of diced tomato. And what we're gonna do is just cook that red onion until it starts to soften and saute on the edges. And we wanna cook that water out of that tomato. As you can see, I'm starting to get a little bit of coloring on my onions. They're starting to soften in color and the edges are just starting to brown a little bit. At this point, I'm gonna add some roasted chopped garlic. We're gonna make this one nice and garlicky. So about 2 tablespoons in there. Things are starting to caramelize nicely. So you can see my onions are starting to brown and the edges are starting to color. The tomatoes are starting to get a little color on them as well. I'm starting to develop a little bit of caramelization on the bottom of the pan too. And that's gonna let me know it's almost time for deglazing. What I'm gonna do is deglaze using a little bit of Chianti wine. What we're doing is picking up all those tasty caramelization notes on the bottom of that pan, and we're going to cook that wine and all the alcohol out. We're gonna cook that down to what's called au sec, which is basically French for dry. And we're starting to get that because you can see there's not a lot of wine left. And that smells absolutely heavenly. Next thing we're gonna do is add our kalamata olives. I've got some sun-dried tomatoes here that I've rehydrated in a little bit of water before I put them in. Some roasted artichoke hearts, quartered. Let's give those a quick little shake. Then we're gonna put in a little bit of our roasted chicken stock. I have just a little left, about 1 ladle's worth. There you go. What we'd like to do is get that up to a simmer now and let all those ingredients warm up. And I wish you guys could smell this because it is heavenly. Now, if I was making this in a much larger batch, I would do the exact method and technique. Same steps, same procedure. So whether it was in a braising unit or in a kettle, exact same method and technique here. Once I get this up to a light simmer here, and I get all these ingredients up to temperature, I'm gonna finish it off with a little fine herb blend of basil and oregano, just to bring those flavors up. Now I've got that going up to a nice little light simmer. I'm just gonna finish it off with a little bit of that herb that we talked about. Tearing this down. Give it a quick shake on the stove. There we go. I've got about 1.5 pounds or so of reverse blend pulled chicken. What I'm gonna do is add this into our liquid. I'm just gonna stir that around. Now, as you guys have noticed, and I hope you have, I have not added any salt to this product. Between the flavors of the wine that we've taken to au sec, the sun-dried tomato, the onion, and that stock, we're going to have tons and tons of flavor. Now that I've got this all finished, I'm going to pan it up and we'll be right back and we're gonna make our entree and sandwich with it. Thanks. Hi, we're going to finish our Tuscan pulled chicken right now. We're gonna make ourselves an entree and also a sandwich. Let's start with the entree. I'm gonna simply pair it up with some roasted potatoes and herbs that we put together, a little bit of asparagus with a little bit of a white bean compote, and then it's gonna be perfect combination of flavors with all of the complexity of that Tuscan pulled chicken. So we're gonna take our pan of pulled chicken, artichokes, tomatoes, and olives. Make sure I get a bunch of all those in there. Make sure we get some olives on there for everyone. Couple roasted red peppers, sun-dried tomatoes. What I also want to do is get some of that delicious broth that we made and put that right over the top. Also add a little bit of au jus over those potatoes. I like that, that looks nice. Next thing we're gonna do is work with a piece of ciabatta that I've simply just cut and toasted. I'm going to lay some beautiful shavings of Parmesan. It could be any sliced cheese. It's a good spot for mozzarella. But a little bit of Parmesan will work well on that. We're gonna let the warm meat actually melt that cheese down. So once again, I'm gonna grab a couple portions. Once again, don't forget our olives. And we're gonna pile it nice and high and deep there. Make sure we get some sun-dried tomatoes. Okay, that looks really nice. Okay. We could give this a little bit more cheese over the top, but I think it looks really nice. And we'll just cover that guy slightly. Okay, folks, we have just finished our entree plate right here with some roasted potatoes, asparagus, and white beans with our Tuscan pulled chicken, and also that sandwich that we just completed on ciabatta with a little bit of shaved Parmesan too. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for joining us.